Standing on the sidelines, lying on repeat. Little campfire, fiction for the front row seat. Day after day, same story, same spin. You dress up the rumor like it's evidence, then grin. You point at a case, say look at that man, but you don't got a screenshot, don't got a plan. You talk about a white car like it's some smoking gun, but every single detail falls apart one by one. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Fog lights blazing, you still mumble in the haze. Goofy gray static, every channel, every day. You shout, I got proof, but your pockets stay bare. Just echo in an alley, just dust in the air. Just another idiot, storytelling every day. You build crooked houses out of things you can't say. You sell loaded rumors like they're holy signs, while family sits shaking on the other side of the line. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. How many names gotta fade off the page while you chase fake ghosts in the secondhand rage? We want hard facts, not your costume show. Turn the cameras to the damage, let the real story glow. Let the real story glow. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Every word you throw, someone pays. We gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray. Standing on the sidelines, lying.
Yeah, roll call, listen. They go to sauce bars, clock on the wall, still ticking. Blue crew posted in the bag, a whole room, listen. True crime cafe, coffee, black eyes, red files on the table, cold cases, cold dread, seeking the truth. Ink stains on his hand, pics on the cardboard, string lines, map land, busting these cases, long nights, tight grind. Everything will be fine. He repeat that line, blue crew backs him, keep him on track, one step from the edge, they pulling them back. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking the truth, pay the real cost, gotta find answers, gotta make time, busting these cases, walking that line. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, hoping he can answer just a few. Yo, true crime cafe, when they go to softball, say it with your chest, this the true talk. Solving the bullshit, lies in the booth, paper plates, cheap meals, chasing down proof, praying real quiet, hands on his face, fighting for the next meal. In another cold case, street talk, tip line, voices on mute, he dig through the dirt, searching for a root, true justice, distant, like it changed address, but he still take notes, never half step. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking the truth, pay the real cost, gotta find answers, gotta make time, busting these cases, walking that line. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, seeking he can answer, just a few talk. True crime cafe, when they go to softball, say it with your chest, it's the truth talk. True talk.
What's up, this all fucking crazy out there, right?
True Crime Cafe, they go to softballs. Cold brew, cold case, chalk lines on the gloss. Seeking the truth, finding the time, files on the counter, grind with the grind. Blue crew backs him, keeps him in line. Sirens in his pocket, eyes on the sign. Got a wall full of faces, string tied tight, every red pen circle, another long night. True Crime Cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. Moving the bullshit, praying low real. Knuckles on the table, fighting for the next meal. True justice far out of view. Smoke in the doorway, what else can he do? Hoping he can answer just a few names in a notebook, voices breaking through. True Crime Cafe, where the real ones bleed, busting these cases till the lost get free. Gotta find answers, gotta make time, everything will be fine if the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. If the truth aligns. What's up, this all fucking crazy out there, right? Drop dead thunder, heavy on the low end. Blue crew coming through, say it once again. Fizzy, sassy, Casey, mama bear stand tall, Brandy B, Tandy, Tomboy Zelda on call, the last 24, S.A.B. Ratch locking that feed, Molly Drake in the back with some speaks when we need. Watching over us all while the chaos climbs, scroll by scroll, they save our timelines, yeah. Blue crew, do it their way, moderating all the mess, keep it in play. Trolls beware, they don't ever care, running this shit, making everyone aware. Blue crew, do it their way, shut it down fast when it goes sideways. They don't blink, they don't break, they just swing, hit the lead, make space. Moonlit, baby roll, crazy's chaos in control. Cat K, Bonnie B, flip a switch, clean a scroll. Lucy Morning Star, Meg, P-Guard in the gay, Randy Farley, a story, set it all straight. Keep it in line, yeah, they do it all the time. Naming blue, that's a warm, better walk that line. Walk that line. Blue crew, do it their way, moderating all the mess, keep it in play. Trolls beware, they don't ever care, running this shit, making everyone aware. Blue crew, do it their way, shut it down fast when it goes sideways. They don't blink, they don't break, they just swing at the lead, make space. Typically unique, every mind, every name, different style, same flame, same aim, same game. From the first ping to the late night call, blue crew on the wall, watching over us all. Over us all, over us all. Blue crew, do it their way, moderating all the mess, keep it in play. Trolls beware, they don't ever care, running this shit, making everyone aware. Blue crew, do it their way, shut it down fast when it goes sideways. They don't blink, they don't break, they just swing at the lead, make space. Hey! Hey! Blue crew, true crew. Yeah. Yeah.
Metal Live fuck your shit! Yeah, 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 okay! Hey! Metal in my veins, hip hop on my tongue. Blue crew true, we forever young. Fizzy, sassy, Cassie, mama bear in the check. Brandy B, 10D, put the hammer where it's at. Tomboys, other the last 24 lock. S.O.B. Rax, Molly, make the chaos stop. Drake with the wisdom speaks, typically unique. Moonlit, baby roll, keeps the wolves on our leash. Yeah! Blue crew, true crew, they moderating us, keeping it in line, cleaning up your stress. Trolls beware, they don't ever care. Now running this, making all aware. Day after day, they do
Lying on repeat, little campfire, fiction for the front row seat. Day after day, same story, same spin. You dress up the rumor like it's evidence, then grin.
You point at a case, say look at that man, but you don't got a screenshot, don't got a plan. You talk about a white car like it's some smoking gun, but every single detail falls apart one by one. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray, every word you throw, someone pays, we gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray.
Fog lights blazing, you still mumble in the haze. Goofy gray static, every channel, every day. You shout, I got proof, but your pockets stay bare. Just echo in an alley, just dust in the air. Just another idiot, storytelling every day. You build crooked houses out of things you can't say. You sell loaded rumors like they're holy signs, while family sits shaking on the other side of the line.
Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray, every word you throw, someone pays, we gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray.
How many names gotta fade off the page while you chase fake ghosts in the secondhand rage? We want hard facts, not your costume show. Turn the cameras to the damage, let the real story glow.
Let the real story glow. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray, every word you throw, someone pays, we gotta get the truth before another one dies. Fog lights on, we cutting through your disguise. Stop pushing the lies, goofy gray.
All right. Welcome back to the cafe, guys. The doors are open for business. It's great to see you all here today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're all having a great Friday. It is the end of the week. Finally, the weekend is right there. You can see it right there. So I hope you guys are excited for that. It's great to have you all back here, guys. We're heading on back over to Idaho today. The WSU lawsuit, there's been a reply to that from the WSU themselves, so on and so forth. And I feel like there's some stuff unfolding within that. We're going to discuss that, things that could be coming from that, so on and so forth, and break it down the way we do over here at the cafe. So please make sure to hit the like button on your way through the door, if you will. Share this out and let everybody know what we be doing here today. And that being said, you guys know what comes next. Let's do it.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare.
The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face at the True Crime Cafe.
are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hug the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betray. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn. A requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the brave. At the True Crime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the True Crime Cafe.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Great to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you're all having an amazing, amazing day. Welcome back to the cafe. Oh, my gracious. It is so great to be back with you guys today. I hope you're all having a great one. Truly and honestly. Truly and honestly, but you guys, we all know what today is, right? Right? Friday the 13th. Hey, hey. You know, you guys got to watch them movies now, right? You know that. You know. 1 minute here. It is Friday the 13th, but more importantly than that, it is our lovely megastar, one of our awesome moderators here, part of this amazing team. It is their birthday. So, as we do, we celebrate birthdays in here, even for family members of the team and the community. So, if I know about it, I know about it. It is what it is. So here you go. Please make sure you wish Megs Boys a happy birthday, guys. They have an amazing day today. So let's run this one.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, 'cause you're awesome. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday!
All right. That's for Meg's boys. And then on top of that, 1 minute, we also have another one of our amazing moderators. It is her birthday, I do believe. I thought it was yesterday, but I think it is today. So, 1 minute. So I'm going to throw this up for Kim's daughter as well from Typically Unique. So 1 minute here. Make sure you wish her daughter a happy birthday as well. I don't even know if she's in here, but hopefully she'll see it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. It's your birthday, hooray! Happy birthday. It's your birthday, hooray! Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right. So that is for Kim's daughter. I don't want to have her name, guys. I'm sorry. And then before that, we ran it for Meg P, our megastar, her twin boys. It's their birthday today as well. So I hope they have an amazing day. All three of them, I truly do. I hope they have an amazing year, and next year we can do it again. So, okay, now I know it. Her name is Carly. That's awesome. Happy birthday, Carly. I hope you have an amazing day and an amazing year. I'm sure you will. You have an amazing set of parents, Kim and Carlos, amazing parents, amazing people. Very grateful that Kim is part of our family here, our community. And yes, very much so, as well as Meg's twins, her twin boys. I have a set of twins too. Twins are amazing. So I hope they have an amazing year. Again, another lucky set of kids that have an amazing mother. And we're very proud and very happy that Meg is part of our family and our team here, and we love and appreciate her so very much. So happy birthday to all of you. I hope you all have an amazing day. All these birthdays all at once. Craziness. I haven't had one to celebrate in a while, but happy birthday to all of you guys. And thank you all again for joining us today for that. And yes, it is Friday the 13th. So having these birthdays make it a little bit better every day. I love the Friday the 13th franchise. So it's exciting for me to be able to watch those movies on this day when I can. So welcome everybody. Let's see who we got here in the house. It looks like a megastar is in the house. Of course, Tomboy. Beach Babe, welcome back to you. Hunted Breed, welcome to you. Musical Contessa, great to see you. Jesse Lynn, welcome back. Michelle F, always wonderful to see you. Teresa, hey, welcome back to you. SRBBB, great to see you. Jesse Schul's in the house. Good to see you, Jesse. Great to have you here, buddy. Let's see. Donna, 7 of 9, welcome back to you. Of course, never fails, does it? Ever? Nope, sure don't. Jacqueline Keeley, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Moonflower, welcome back. Gail is in the house. Great to see you, Gail. Charlie from Oz, good to see ya. January 24, welcome to you. Dave Clayton, welcome back, brother. Great to see you today. Randy Furr, my brother from another mother. Great to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Cynthia Rose, RN. DKM's in the house. Good to see you. Sherry Cowan, hey, hey. Let's see here. Beth Wagner, welcome to you. Thrive Off Grid, great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Michelle Weddle, always a pleasure. Kimberly, Texas, I think it is. Good to see you. Let me see here. Oh, I wish this headache would go away. Senor Wazowski's in the house. Good golly, Miss Molly, our videographer. And of course, the last 24, my executive producers in the house today as well. Great to see you both. Thank you for everything you do. And thank you to all of my amazing moderators, because we all know I would not exist here and could not do this without them. So thank you to all of you. Nothing but love for you all. You know that. Buggles, welcome back to you. Laura Cliff, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for that, Meg. Again, donations never ever expected here, guys, of any sort. But please, please understand that we do absolutely appreciate it. It keeps my channel moving forward. So anybody chooses to support us, whether it's Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, or any form of that, thank you so very much. We do appreciate you very much. That's a fact. I think I got everybody. Moonlit Baby, good to see ya. Butterfly Wings, there we go. I almost didn't see you. Sluther 75's in the house. Good to see you. These calls are so ridiculous. I think I've got just about everybody. Old Man Suds, what's going on? Good to see you. Lexi Colitis, welcome from Canada. Paco's in the house. Good to see you. Living Dead Girl, welcome back. Gen 7, good to see ya. Yes. Kathy Buhner, welcome. Mama 4, welcome. That's funny. That's funny. I should try that one time. Sandra Kiyoshi, welcome back to you. Great to see you. We got quite a few of you guys in here today. And it looks like we got 103 peeps in the house and 59 likes, guys. See if we can make that match play, please, and thank ya. Right Turn Clyde, great to see you back in the house. Thank you for joining us. All right. So, guys, today, like I said, we're gonna jump into the we're gonna break down the WSU lawsuit stuff, and we're gonna discuss how that may affect this case going forward, because I think it's going to. I think there's some stuff going on. We have some other things to look into as well that were released. There's a new interview. Is the first thing I wanted to cover first and foremost was a new interview that was put out. So we shall see how that goes. And then we're going to break down and discuss the other stuff with the WSU lawsuit, how it may affect and how it will affect, I think, the case. Also, I will post this here, so anybody that would like to discuss this with me and all of us has the ability to do it. You can jump on up here with us. Miss Tandy's in the house, I believe. Did I see her? I saw her somewhere. Sleuth's in the house. Sluther 75. Great to see you. I may have said that already, but I'm gonna say it again. It's okay. We know that not everybody's built to go up on the panel and talk. 8 years old, taking over the world. You got an 8-year-old too? Oh, that's how old you? Okay, I got you. All right, guys. Give me 1 minute here. And we will, don't worry, guys. For those of you that are following the Nancy got through thing, we are as well. I promise you I will keep giving updates on that as well. I just have to bounce back and forth between these cases because there's so much going on. Snabby Cat, welcome back. Good to see you today. Snabby Cat, I love the name. I am feeling a little better than I was, but I have a hell of a headache today. I think it's all sinus. It's driving me nuts. That and the way I slept, my neck was bent a certain kind of way. I have 7 kids. You have 8 kids? Oh, wow. God bless you. I thought I 7 was a lot for me, but 8, God bless you, hon. Let's see. Carrie's Gold, welcome to the sauce, by the way. I can't remember who gifted it, but she said no. That's funny. Yeah, I have 7 children. I have 5 boys and 2 girls. Just one 8-year-old, and that's enough for any. Truly, honestly, come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Leash 23, welcome. Good to see you today. Thank you. I have 5, 3 natural, and 2. 53 natural? That is. Oh, no, I get it. I have 5, 3 natural, and 2 step. Okay, you had me there for a minute, Moon. I was like, hold on, wait, you have what? I got it, though. 4 dogs. That's there you go, Randy. Thank you, Miss Meg. Yes, guys, jump in and be one of the cool kids, guys. Check out our store, the Cafe store, and see if you're interested in any of our merchandise over there. Plenty of cool stuff and much more coming. So go check it out with that link there. Thank you, Meg. 2 + 3 is 5. That's right. All right, guys. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think we pretty much have everybody here, is I'm going to pull up this interview. We're going to review that first, this newer interview, and then we'll go from there. And again, thank you guys all so much for being here. My day would never be the same without you all. That is a fact. So I can't really. I think is the guy's name is Kai Zwan Chen. This is the interview that was put out recently. The date that this interview was done was October 10th of 23. I'd never heard of this guy before, so I have no idea, but it's all about this. So this gentleman, by the way, was one of Brian Koberger's classmates. So we're gonna listen to it, break it down, and decide what we think it is. For those of you that haven't followed this. Gotcha. That's what I've been told. My wife has said that before, that I'm a 51-year-old child. Yeah, you guys, we're going to definitely turn on the closed caption on this because I don't believe he has very good English. So let's check it out. I don't know, you guys. I don't even know if this is real. To be honest with you, it's weird. It's very strange. Very strange. It's not super duper long, but we'll try the best we can with it. Yeah, that's my point too. I think this kid sounds to me like he was told what to say, like almost word for word. That's my opinion, but so this is an interview again with Kai Zwan Chen. This was a classmate, supposedly of Brian Koberger's. You guys make your own perception based on this. I don't trust it. I'll be honest with you. Truly and honestly, I don't.
Obviously, we wanted to touch base with you again on kind of some stuff. It sounds like maybe you remembered or forgotten to tell the initial investigator that spoke.
When I first heard this, let me be honest with you guys. The first time I heard this, I was like, it's funny because we have not heard any interviews from anybody that knew who Brian was, so on and so forth, that could talk on that. And so then this appeared, and I was like, that's convenient. Okay. And it just, to me, honest to God, I'm not just saying this because of what we do out here, but this sounds almost to me like this kid's reading a script. Like he was told almost word for word what to say. It's kind of crazy, you guys. So just bear with it. What's up, Hemi? How are you today, sir?
I'm good, Dago. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for joining me.
Let's see.
And yeah, this wasn't his first interview either, guys. This was the secondary one, I believe. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just going to say I wasn't going to be up here much long. I got an interview at 2:30, so I just want to come up here and say that to you.
Good stuff. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, have you seen that interview with Nancy Disgrace and Bloom?
No, not yet. Somebody asked me if I was going to review that. And I may. It's up to what you guys want. But yeah, I've been told about it by many people. I got 3 or 4 emails on it. So,
well, if it's anything means to you, and I know I keep mentioning his name, but I have never, in my time watching Pa break down a video like that and have a reaction. So that says a lot. That's it.
Maybe we will then today, because I've been so busy with the Nancy Guthrie stuff. I haven't caught everything here, but I'm trying to catch up with it. This one was sent to me, and then of course that was too. So we can definitely break that down as well. And my reactions to anything Nancy does should be interesting. So,
well, from what I'm hearing from the attorneys over there from Birdie's show last night, that there is a big chance that there's some things on the civil suit that's going to come out to light about the criminal side.
That's what we're going to be talking about today. I feel the same way. By the way, you guys, just so you guys know, this coming Tuesday, which would be the 17th. Tomorrow's the 14th. 15th. Yeah, this coming Tuesday, the 17th, I'm going to be joined again by the custody queens. We're going to be more than likely breaking down and talking about the WSU lawsuit stuff. their opinions, so on and so forth over here. So that's
I got a feeling this is going to open up a bunch of can of worms that.
yeah, so do I, and that's why I wanted to discuss it today because I feel like there's some stuff coming down the pike to be expecting. I feel like there's to put it in layman's terms, there's going to be a lot of shit hitting the fan, and that's my opinion on this. So,
yeah,
and I will definitely explain why. So let's see what Mr. Kai Zwan Chen has to say. And again, honest to God, I've never said this before, you guys, but after I heard this the first time, I'm going to tell you right now. Take this with as many grains of salt as you can because this just seems so fake to me. It truly does. I'm sorry to say that, but it does. But of course, I want your opinions on it.
To you, I'm kind of also interested in, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of restating to us your relationship with Brian and when it started and all that stuff. So wherever you feel like starting.
I'm his classmate, and we sorry. My first meeting was last year. Okay, sorry. Let me organize the time. Last August was the last, and we serve as same teaching assistant with. And we share an office in okay. It's 12. Yeah. Wilson short for 12. Yeah. Okay. We share them for one semester. And you can ask what you want to understand because I don't know. I'm sure what kind of information you want.
Yeah. So I guess what was your relationship like with Brian, and that in particularly before the homicides in Moscow?
Okay. He always say we are friends, and I probably one of most close person with him because we have a same TA job, and we share an office. We usually discussion our class work together. I asked him something because I thought he was a very smart person. He understands our coursework very well, and I'm international student, so sometimes I'm not sure the information is correct or not, but eventually I noticed he usually mislead me a lot of information, such as where he is, or where he was, or where what kind of assignment requirement. He always mislead and make me confused. Again, we share same TA job together. So I also noticed he push a lot of his work to me. I noticed he's a very selfish person. But
wow, isn't this convenient, you guys? Brian pushes off his work. He's selfish, this and that. But he says, tell me about him before the crime was committed. How stupid can people be? I mean, come on. I'm sorry, but you're not going to get anybody that's going to talk about Brian beforehand, in my opinion. Just saying. I think this is Maori. I think. Hey, Ro.
So who's this guy talking about? He's talking about Brian Koberger, or
they worked together. They were both teaching assistants. They shared the job, he said. And he's trying to say that Brian pushed his work off on him. He was selfish, blah, blah, blah. And again, we're not going to hear anything nice about Brian, you guys, because this was after the fact, okay? This is October of 23 that they did this. So therefore, think about that. He's not going to say anything positive about him because he's been arrested. This is how people think in some aspects, okay?
Here's the thing, though, Dago. If all that was going on at the time this was happening, And there was no reports of this stuff going on at that particular time. And now, ain't it funny how he's not really convicted. He just accepted a plea deal and facing life in jail. And now everybody wants to come out with their little daggers and go, see, at that particular time, he was this and that. And he was a selfish person. He was this and that and the other. Miss me with that. That's just crazy to me. Why didn't you say something earlier?
That's the point that I'm trying to make with this by showing this too. That
wow.
They're not going to. Nobody's going to come forth and say anything good about him, especially over a year later. Come on, guys. I mean, it's there's bias.
I'm sorry, Dagan. I'm walking all over you. Have you ever met somebody and you know them for years and they're always in good character and you establish a very good friendship and then something happens to them and you have that, oh wow, that didn't even sound like he did. That's something that I never would have thought he would do. I don't believe this. I can't believe what I'm seeing here.
Sure.
That's not what this is for me. I mean, from what I'm looking at it like these people are throwing daggers at this man because what have we heard all this time? He has nothing to provide as far as saying anything. They have discriminated his character and everything. And I just found out Brian Kohlberger has put a lawsuit out for that jail he's in.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any way to prove that as of yet. I haven't seen a filing on it, but I've heard that it's something that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to get.
I hope it is. I hope it is. But I want you guys to understand, like we're 3 minutes into this, okay? Not even 3 full minutes. And the first things he's saying, he pushed all his work off on me. He's very selfish. He's this, he's that. Come on, guys. Come on. Think about it. You have to understand, like, this would not, if this interview would have been done in September of 22, I guarantee it would have been a completely different interview. So to me, it sounds like he's reading off, hey, Astastic. It sounds like he's reading off of a script almost. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, we'll play it out for sure.
I understand less thing was he have been arrested. But before he arrest, we usually have a phone talk, especially around October to November.
Okay.
Before he excused his homicide, and after he excused his homicide, he usually call me and every time we just chatting, and I don't know why he usually call me, and every time perhaps have more than 1 hour talking. Yeah, I don't know why, but sometimes I heard his voice was very, very anxious. He probably wants someone to speak with him and reduce his anxieties or pressure, something like that. Mm-hmm. Another information is he once been my dormitory before. I live on campus. He once been my dormitory, but that time he was very close to the homicide or after homicide. I'm not sure because it was 1 year ago. And I around that time I feel him. He was extremely anxious. I just noticed his voice always speak very, very fast and cannot very well structured. Mm-hmm. He just want to express anything.
Okay. My question is if this is a teaching assistant, okay, and his English is so broken, how is he a teaching assistant? Like, you would think that they would need somebody that would be able to explain things to students in a lot of like in in-depth ways. And this kid can't barely even speak hardly any English whatsoever. This is ridiculous. And it's interesting that this is the only interview we've heard about Brian. Think about that for a minute, okay? Come on now.
But a lot of information was complicated. I cannot understand because, again, I was international student.
Was that out of the ordinary for him?
Sorry?
Was him speaking quickly like that? Was that out of the ordinary or not normal?
Yeah, I think it's what I feel. Just feel some person feel anxiety and just want to release his pressure, something like that. And another important information was is he again we shared some tier job together, and he was reported by some student because he's unfair grading, and he tried to inappropriate content to female students. He tried to use his grading, his authority, his power to touch girl, something like that. Because I remember he told me he wants a girlfriend.
Now, this part here, you guys, I'm telling you, this guy is repeating rumor. This guy's repeating what he's heard via the propaganda, through the news, through this, through that. That's exactly what he's repeating, in my opinion.
Yeah. So he got reported from students, and our professor also noticed this problem. So they have it, and told me he didn't like Brian because Brian he thought he's a very arrogant student and not hard work.
All right, so I'm going to call a lie on that one. He's going to tell us now that his professor, the guy that they worked for, said I don't like Brian because he's a Robin student. I don't know what the hell that even means, but okay, one more lie.
Something like that, and he tried to report his behavior to our office, and our office already noticed this problem. And the last time Brian Brian know this information, and they call me. Brian called me if he got his job has been canceled, or his tier job has been canceled, or his admission has been influenced. He want to fall. He want to fight with this system. He want to fight with our. I don't know why it's fine. He's a kind of.
And
again,
we do have a translator on the phone. If there's anything you want.
I have a caption. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry. Again, my English.
You're fine. But if you need it, just so you know, there's a translator on the phone. If there's anything you can't think of, he can help out too.
Okay. Yeah. So before. Now you all understand why I'm talking, because I'm just worried. My English. Okay, let me continue. So he told me he want to fight with the sales we want against, and he encouraged me a fight with him together. But I refused, and he told me he want to report to our department's dean office, something like that. But everything was around November, before he had got arrested. So the biggest problem. So I know he's eventually I know he was a selfish person. He wants to use his power to catch the girls, female students, attraction, something like that. And he's not an honest person, because because the last talking, my last talking with him was I before he got, I think it was around before the Christmas, the last year Christmas, and he told me he's still in Pullman, and he's packing but the truth was he or his father been there. They drove together to Pennsylvania, so he want to mislead us where he was. Yeah. But that information was I know was he has been arrested because he during the phone call he told me he's ready to he would take plane flight from Pullman to Pennsylvania, but the truth is incorrect.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Another thing is once one was talking with them. So if you finish it, you probably have a short discussion with him if you want. And he will have a very serious argument with John because John already know some student report him and he still Brian doesn't didn't communicate very polite with John. So they have an argument, but I'm not sure the detail. But let me think. Here's something. But I think there's one more thing very important, but I need to read it. I need to recall.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay. I think it's around the end of October to November, but I'm not sure the correct date. But I usually notice his face has a scar. You know what is scar? Yeah, scar. Wounded scar. He look not like by accidental. He like humans scratch. Something.
It did look like that, or it did not look like that.
Look like
it
that.
Looked like a human scratch.
Yeah, okay. Look like human scratch, and I also noticed his knuckles.
Yeah.
Sorry, knuckles. Usually has had scar. At least two times, different week. So he probably he fought with some people, but I'm not sure. As I asked him, he just said he got a car accident. Yeah, but it's 2 week, different week. For example, this week and then next week, I saw the new scar. Okay. So it was very, very, very strange. And around that time, he usually went to our class very late, probably.
That's interesting to me because we saw a picture of Brian the next morning. There was no scar on his face there. But now you're going to say that there was. This is insane, you guys.
More than 20 minutes, several times. Yeah, there's. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm not pretty sure the date.
Oh, that's okay.
But it probably around October to November, the end of October.
Do you remember if the knuckle scars or the face scar, like which one was first or second?
I think both.
Okay, they were at the same time.
Same time. Okay. Yeah. And the same time he had things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where on his face was it? Was it like across his nose, on his cheek, across his nose,
and knuckles. I'm not sure that which hand.
Mm-hmm.
Probably both, but yeah, he is a very specific.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember, was it like an up and down scar or a sideways?
This is a good question.
It's a long time ago.
Critical question. Let me think.
Okay, that response right there bothers me because do you remember if it was an up and down scar or side to side? That's a good question. You either know or you don't know, period. I mean, I know it's been a period of time here, but if you remember the scar, then you remember what it would look like, I would think. This is mine, of course, but just saying.
I'm not sure, but you probably hard horizon.
Mm-hmm. Horizontal. Yep.
Yeah.
So he said that was from a car accident. Is what he told you?
He said car accident. I just asked him like a friend to concern his, but he didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk too much.
Yeah. Was there any topics that he liked to talk to you about specifically after the homicides happened?
Yes.
What were those?
He liked to talk humans psychological pattern. He liked to talk his research. He likes to talk criminal decision making, something like that. And he say he like to guess why criminal want to do the behavior, something like that. And he told me about his research interest is invade burglary, home burglary, right? Yeah. I'm not sure that the sentence. Yeah, burglary. He say he want to understand this type of behavior, why to invade some people's house, something like that. Okay. Yeah, the most. We usually talk about. He usually said the first thing is his research interest. You want to understand why criminal behavior, what kind of criminal behaviors, and he want to make a girlfriend. And the last thing is he want to fight with the system because he got reported. I guess he already he probably gained some alert from our campus, but so he wanted to do some reaction about that. So yeah, that's 4 things.
When you said he wanted to,
I find that very interesting.
Tell you, or did he tell you?
Say that again.
That's a pretty good insight right there, because if you remember when we got the PCA, they literally took Dylan's test or recall of the events to come up with the narrative that we all know well now. That's all bullshit. To hear him say that he's having these conversations with Brian Kohlberger about something that he's very passionate about in criminology, something that he has done studies on and this, that, and the other. But you really notice throughout that whole conversation he was just having, it was to put a negative light on something that they're basically grasping for straws on, because they don't have anything on the guy.
Right.
So enter this guy who can barely speak freaking English to be the one to come up with the narrative on why Brian Kohlberger is so suspicious in the crime, to tie him all in there. And everything that he's talking about is based on the studies. What a dumbass.
Yeah, it's a joke to me too, but
you're a weasel. You shouldn't even freaking be talking. Go to your visa and go back to your homeland. Okay? Get out of my country. You're a waste of space, waste of air.
You know, I just feel like he was given a script and said, "This is what we need you to say, so please do." Period. You know what I mean? That's my opinion with him so far.
I just want to point that out because that's where it's coming from. All this negativity about Brian Kohlberger did this, Brian Kohlberger's that, and this, that, and the other. This guy was into his studies, guys. We read his daggone homework page. I mean, Brian Kohlberger was a very smart person. This is how to discredit his credibility as a human damn being, as a character. Get the hell out of here, man.
On we go.
The reason why he couldn't find a girlfriend, or did he express frustrations in finding a girlfriend? Or
I asked him if he has a girlfriend before. He said, "I'm not sure it's correct," but he said yes. But like he broke up with his girlfriend. I'm not sure, but I didn't ask his detail. But yeah, he just said he wants a girlfriend here. Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever express any interest in a particular girl, or?
No, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
He just said.
Gotcha.
But it's just my guess because after the homicide and several reports and several documents reveal, I have a discuss with my friend. I have a friend who also who was his TA student, and because he hear several girls told him Brian has several inappropriate communication and something like scanning. They feel insulted by him.
Listen, let me explain something, you guys. Okay, I don't have a problem with the fact that this guy can't speak good English. Okay, we have people that come over here all the time that are good people that become part of our community. The statements I'm making about him, I feel like it's not about him as a person. It's about, I feel like he was told what to say is what I'm saying to you guys. That's what it sounds like. Is all I'm telling you. I don't have a personal problem with him. Okay. I'm not telling, Hemi has his own opinions. That's fine. I understand that. I don't, this isn't about whether he should be here or not be here. None of that. It's about what he's saying about Brian Kohlberger. And I feel like, being that this is in October of 23, he already knows everything he needs to know about Brian based on what the media has put out there. And that's what he's kind of repeating, in my opinion. Okay. He's repeating hearsay, rumors, and he's acting in that aspect. He truly hasn't. And I've seen it in the chat too. He hasn't said a whole lot of anything negative about Brian other than the beginning where he said he was selfish and stuff like that. But it's not all been about him. The point is, it just sounds like he's following the leader, repeating these things, period, in my opinion. That's all. So I don't have anything personal with him. If he's here legally and all that other stuff like they're supposed to be, he deserves to be here. He's getting an education to our country, so on and so forth. His parents probably came here, so on, blah, blah, blah. I get it all. I have no issues with that, none whatsoever. I just feel like what he's saying is what everybody else has said. And it makes no sense for him, being a teacher's assistant, to make the statements that he's saying, because they just don't fit. They don't fit in with what I know and what we know, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. So if it's been drilled into his mind, like it probably has through media and everybody around him, Brian was bad. Brian is bad. Brian's this bad person. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what he's going to say? Brian was selfish. This and that. Stuff like that. He is going to say stuff like that because that's what he feels like he needs to say, because he has to fit into this group of people at that point to be comfortable, per se, probably. You know what I mean? Just opinions of what I think is all I'm saying. So, moving on.
Right. So we guess the homicide probably have a relationship with he wants a girlfriend, and probably some girl refused him, and he want to revenge because we all because I know Brian is a person who very afraid of some people to refuse. He want to express his he is a smart person. He's a excellent person. He is he is super than other people. So he probably cannot afford someone refuse him.
And in my opinion, the reason why we're hearing this is because there weren't many other people that they would interview with, in my opinion. I don't know that we may hear other ones, but we haven't heard anybody but this gentleman here. This is it. That tells me that there weren't many people that probably wanted to interview to talk about this. Okay. That's just an opinion again, but that's why I believe that's happening.
God failed for something.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's our guest, but I'm not sure he's correct or not. Yeah, just I want to share with you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you said so he lost his job as a TA?
No, he probably potentially, but he noticed.
But he.
Now, right there, you see how the law enforcement officer said, so you're saying that he lost his job as a TA, and he corrects him and says, no, he probably or potentially lost his job. It was a maybe he did or could have. They're pushing a narrative. They're trying to get him to follow it, period.
Found out about the reports about him?
I guess probably some our campus because it was around December. Okay. It's already end of or the end of the semester, the fall semester. So he probably already got some notification mail or phone call from our graduate office, something like that.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Not sure. Okay. It's just my guess.
You think he probably did? Okay.
Yeah. So that's the reason why he called me. He say, I hope you can like you can become you could become my evidence to support my innocence, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have any conversations with Brian that you can remember, like right after the homicides happened? That was like November 13th. Once everybody had been notified, by the alert on campus. Did he ever bring it up, or did you ever bring it up with him? And did you guys talk about it?
He because we share same office, so sometimes I work in office, and he was there, and he said he will give me a ride, and doing on his car, he probably go before went back to my dormitory.
Exactly nothing. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like they're conveniently only interviewing specific types of people or specific people. Nothing half-assed. I do wish they interviewed the female, his friend that went to Walmart and asked for his help. I know that they probably got to her as well, but it would have been interesting to hear. That's my thing. And like, why didn't you interview her? Or was all of the propaganda being put out, did it turn her against him? Because she really had, from my understanding, she had it pretty hot and heavy for Brian. And he wasn't truly fully interested in her in that sense. You know what I mean? So why would they not interview her? She's somebody that should have been interviewed right off the get, in my opinion, because that would tell what their relationship was like, if there was one, for sure. That's very important, in my opinion, to try to read him. To get a read on him in that aspect, but they didn't do it. If they did do it, we haven't found it yet. So just saying, that's a good point. Nothing half-assed.
He said he want to buy a coffee and drove to Starbucks, bought a coffee and drove back to my dormitory, because my dormitory is a little bit far from here. Probably.
I agree.
Yeah, probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes driving this distance. And after after arriving, we still walk a short distance to my room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you?
I don't think so. Okay. Anything else you can think of that we should know?
If you know young, we have the office was 3 people, and one was me, and Brian, and another was a but I'm not sure she will afford investigation on that. But
we've spoken to her, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, she probably also told you something, but yeah, she's a very important people because she also got some problem with Brian's, and yeah, probably if he won't talk with you, he's upstairs, but I'm not sure he have time. Yeah, because she probably also know some information because he probably also got some. He have several report.
That's a good point. Again, nothing half-assed. As they're trying to use him to establish that Brian was not planning on going back across country with his dad, and that's not true. That trip was planned, folks. When Brian came here in June, I think it was June or July. Anyway, that trip was planned for his dad to come back here and drive back with him. They talked about it then. So it was planned way back then, months before this even happened. It was not something that just came down, upon the ranks and said, okay, this is what's happening to make it look super suspicious. That's not at all how that happened. So good point again, Fancy. Thank you, dear. And Cass, happy anniversary, 31 months. I think it's been a little longer than that, just like your mom. And thank you so much for being part of our family, Cass. We appreciate you very much.
Okay. Yeah, that's why. Anything else if you want?
Cool.
So if I want to organize my thought. Not sure. Probably his personal mental problem. Probably, but I think he want a girlfriend is a very, very strong evidence. Related.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Of course.
You have my email, so if you think of anything else, just reach out to me, and I can always come back over here and talk to you. Rob, do the same. So we're always around. So if you think of anything else, please reach out. But we appreciate you setting aside the time. I'm sure you're plenty busy.
Yeah.
How much longer do you have?
I hope it will help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I'll give you one. There's mine too.
Hey, I'm sorry we didn't need you, but we appreciate you sitting in.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
That sounded like Brett Payne.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, if anything else pops into your head, just let us know, okay?
Yeah, I'm not sure my information is correct or not, but I just record as much as.
I'm not sure if my information is correct or not. That's a red flag.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it.
That's perfect.
So you can probably compare to not or just information together. Probably can pass over a whole picture.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Cool.
End the interview.
What a mess. What a mess. Once again, like I said, it sounds like he was just kind of rephrasing hearsay and all the rumors that he had heard through the whole thing. And I'm sorry, but that's not an accurate or authentic interview as far as I'm concerned. Just saying. All right, I guess we might as well just go ahead and cover this. Be done with it. One minute here. Where's this one at now? Where the hell is it? I had it pulled up. Hold on a minute, guys. What the shit? One minute. Liz Bear, welcome. Summer Jaden, good to see you. Where the hell is it? Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to pull something up that I had in my stuff, but now I can't find it. So, give me a minute. I got it in here somewhere. I got this thing last week, I think. Or maybe... I mean, do you remember what day it was that the Howard Bloom interview was with Nancy?
Check your DM. I had it in your, put it in your DM.
I was just trying to remember because I pulled it up once before, and now it's...
I think that's happened sometime last week.
Yeah, but it was uploaded into my stuff, and I can't find it now. That's the problem. So that's all right. I got it. Don't worry about it.
I noticed I DM'd you that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I put it in general chat too for everybody else to look at.
I know you had sent it to me too, but why is it not uploaded into my stuff like I have everything else? That's the weird thing. That's all right. I got my other stuff over here, and I can pull it this way too. Just a minute, folks. Here we go. Yep, I think this is it. Hold on. All right, let me set this up for you guys. Yeah, it's 3 days ago. All right, so everybody grab a hold of something. You're going to get angry. I know I am. There's a whole bunch of bullshit in this, but you can weed through it. We need to see both sides of the gate when we talk about this stuff.
I will say this much. There is some folks in her panel that is going to be very ignorant because they don't know what they're talking about. But there is some, it gets good. It's not as bad as it is. It's okay.
Yeah, well, and like I said, for the stuff that will upset you, like I said, we have to see both sides of this to be able to think about it clearly, in my opinion. You can't just always watch the one side of it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So,
I apologize to the chat for earlier. I shouldn't have said what I said. I'll keep my personal feelings to myself. I realize there's a lot of people out there that probably don't think of the way I see things. I need to do better for myself. I realize that. And I apologize to chat. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I appreciate that very much. I'm sure they do as well. So there's multiple people in this. And of course, you guys know how I feel about her to begin with. This is rough for me, but I want to hear what she's saying. There's other things within this that are interesting too. So just bear with it, guys. Please and thank you.
Whoa. Brian Kohberger is suing somebody for money after he's convicted of murdering 4 people he's suing. And tonight, there is a growing sentiment, not by me, but by them, that Kohberger did not act alone. This, as even in the last hours, Brian Kohberger is demanding he be moved to better accommodations, you're not getting the penthouse suite, Koberger. That's not going to happen. Enjoy your gruel. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
You may have received A's in high school and college, but you're going to be getting big D's in prison.
Brian effing Koberger.
I still can't believe that an adult said that to another adult. You know what I mean? Like, that's so immature. And again, I understand the families are angry about things, but to make a statement like that to somebody, it's just so childish and immature. Grow up. I'm sorry, but I have no, I have nothing but compassion, and I feel horrible to the families. But to make statements like that is so childish, guys. Come on.
And Dago, you see, that's where my frustration is, right there. Because we see this time and time again, and we all know it's lies. It's all lies. And they're constantly bashing this man's character. And what we just witnessed earlier when we was watching the interview, all that just brought that back out of me. And it's
right. Now, pay attention to something, though. This WSU lawsuit, that's kind of why we're doing this, and we're going back and forth with this stuff. Think about something for a minute. One of the responses from WSU was that they're going to, in turn, I guess, countersue the people that filed this suit to make them pay for the attorney fees and everything else in this, because it doesn't relate, because there's no reason for this suit. So they're, in turn, going to be suing them. All I'm going to say is this should be a lesson learned. So let's check this out and listen to this bull trash. This guy's the guy over here that thinks, this guy over here swears up and down that there's some kind of a sexual assault aspect to this case, no matter what. And I used to like this guy a lot, but he can't let this go. It's crazy. Welcome, Mad Dog. Crystal Bruin, you as well.
You know, it wouldn't be so bad if it was like, we all know that balls bound that Brian Koberger did this, right? Then maybe, okay, we could trash him all you want to. But this right here is just blatantly just like, bashing this man's character for no apparent reason. And
here's my biggest problem. I'm going to tell you right now. Just like there was another case that we covered, and he took a plea deal because he's a piece of trash and doesn't want to take accountability for the sins that he committed. I'll put it that way. Stephen Stearns. Somebody like that deserves to have their character bashed, in my opinion, because it's been proven. It was proven. They showed proof. Okay.
Right.
The proof was on the man's phone of what he did. Things like that. There's been no proof shown. No proof shown that this man committed this crime. So that's why I have a different feeling about something like this as compared to something like that. Okay. Because I do believe somebody that does things like what Stephen Stearns did, they don't deserve anything. They don't even deserve to breathe oxygen, in my opinion. Okay. That's my opinion.
It's like a double standard, Dago. So we got Brian, what's his name? Bill Thompson, back when they had that survey and said that he was talking about stalking. Now, that's a lie. But
he knows that's a lie.
He says you have planted this in everybody's mind of the wrong reputation, blah, 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 blah. Well, dude, you're doing the same damn thing. The media is doing exactly what you're just saying right there.
Well, that's why they wanted the media to do that, because they didn't have a case to run, so they had to have the media find him guilty. So
thank you. I'm fixing to go. I'm trying to get it all out of me before I go to that interview, but thank you. I appreciate you, chat. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I really don't mean any harm, guys. I've just, been very frustrated with this shit. It's just lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of lies. I know there's no excuse, but it is what it is. But my actions earlier was not uncalled for. I know.
It's all good. And everybody appreciates your apology, sir, as do I. And most people don't do that, so thank you for that. And nothing but luck for your interview, brother.
All right, man.
Let me go with this now. So like I said, this gentleman here, I used to have a lot of respect for him back in other cases we've covered. And lately, like with this case, all he can think is that this is a sexually motivated crime. But there's no proof of that. So once again, here we go.
he is whining. I wish for the items to be called for when this something, the nutritional standards are not being upheld. What? I don't care. It's like, blah, don't care. He doesn't like broccoli. Get used to it. All rhetoric aside regarding Brian Koberger, in the last hours, Kelly Gonzalez's family posted, and it is heart-wrenching, and I want you to see it.
So I'm going through some of Kaylee's things, and I just came across the sweatshirt that she was wearing that night. And in the pocket.
Trigger warning. This video includes sensitive and violent content that may not be suitable for all viewers. This video is for 18 plus only.
Your grub truck, number 78, ticket. I've been looking for it. It's the first thing that I really found that I've been looking for. It was in the top of a box, and then when I looked in the pocket and I found that ticket, just takes you back to those hours right before, and they had no idea what was going to happen to them. Terrible.
This is the stuff that frustrates me, you guys. It truly, honestly, it does. This pulls on my heartstrings. I have a soul. I have a heart. And as I've said millions and millions of times, this is why I'm out here doing what I'm doing, because they should be able to get real justice, and I don't feel like they are. They should want the same things that we want. They should see the things that we see. They should be looking for the things that we've looked at, okay? It truly, and it breaks my heart to see that. It does, absolutely does, because I cannot imagine the pain, the sorrow, and everything they've gone through, okay, honestly. Now, as we go forward in this, you'll see a whole different side of things because of what Nancy does. She plays off of this, okay? Have a good one, Tandy. Don't work too hard, hon. But she plays off of stuff like this. We've seen it classically time after time. It's sad that she does it, but she does. Once again, they should be, in my opinion, this lawsuit should have been directed completely at and only at Latah County, Moscow PD, all of that. Not this school that they're suing, guys. Not at all, because that has nothing to do with this. These are the people they should be suing. These are the people they should be going after, because they didn't get what they were supposed to get out of this, in my opinion.
That is Kelly Gonzalez's mother, Christy, who has joined us many, many nights. Actually, holding and smelling the sweatshirt of Kelly Gonzalez. And I got to tell you something. When my daughter hugs me, it's not perfume. She just smells good. She smells like the outdoors, kind of, and the fresh air and sun and everything good. Just watching this, I don't even hear her right now. It just makes my stomach hurt. And it takes me back to some probative evidence that could have been used at trial if the prosecutor had any backbone, of the Idaho students at that grub hub. Look, they're going out right now. Grub truck number 78 ticket. There they are, and they're having so much fun. It's super late at night. And they're just living life, you know. They're just having so much fun. With me is Chris McDonough. He is the star over at the Cold Case Foundation. He is a former homicide detective who has worked over 300 homicide cases. He is the star of The Interview Room on the YouTube channel where I found him. But for my purposes tonight, he has walked every square inch all around that King Road address to where the trucks were, the food trucks. And Chris, seeing Christy Gonsalves holding Kelly's sweatshirt, I just feel broken in half, Chris.
You know, Nancy, this brings back so many memories for many parents who have lost children, myself included. And the fact that she is embracing that sweatshirt just to smell her daughter gives us an understanding of a depth of pain that nobody should ever experience. And then when I shift out from a personal experience to an investigator's hat, and she pulls out of the pocket the Grubhub receipt. On that receipt is a time. And why that receipt was not in evidence for me, anyway, as an investigator, again, shows potentially some shortcomings with the totality of this investigation.
I was wondering, Chris McDonough, when you were going to bring that up. When I found out the receipt from that night, which is part of the timeline, was still in her pocket, I nearly fell over. But I want to show you something I carry around a lot of times. And
why is that receipt not in evidence? Let me ask that question real quick.
We've been wall to wall trying to help our friend Savannah Guthrie. And these are my dad's shirts. Sometimes I just carry them around. Sometimes I sleep in them. It just kind of depends. And I can just feel when Christy Gonsalves is talking about her daughter, just that empty moment when the trial, or in this case, the cheap plea, is over and everybody leaves and nobody's talking about it anymore and nobody cares anymore. And there you are with that sweatshirt. It's just, the silence is deafening for this family.
Yes, and it doesn't get any better, right? Nancy, you know from personal experience of loss, they now have to learn the coping mechanisms to get them through the next birthday, the next, item that they pull out of a box that was handed to them from the authorities. And everything turns into the next, piece of where is my child? But there will never, ever be that personal hug, that mom, I love you, dad, I love you, hearing it, it's over. And so you learn how to cope with it. But that's as far as you can go as a parent, as a, in your circumstances, your fiance. You just have to empower yourself and then put it towards a positive end. And hopefully great things will come out of it.
Tonight, let me say, unique theory, as far as I'm concerned, regarding the murders of 4 beautiful University of Idaho students. And in the backdrop of that analytical discussion is Kohberger preparing himself to sue. Really? What does he want? $9-10 million over what? But tonight, did Kohberger act alone? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the only one that got up in court and pled guilty. He's the only one that was prosecuted. But now a growing tide of legal eagles insist Kohberger did not act alone. I poo-pooed it when I would see it on Twitter and Insta and Facebook. I would discount it. But For some reason, there is a legion of legal eagles that say, yes, he had an accomplice. But I want you to see Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson with Idaho State Police as he approached Kohberger.
I feel like you probably know why we're here. We're detectives from Idaho, and we're here because of the case in Moscow. And as soon as we mentioned that, then he stopped and he said, I don't want to talk anymore.
From our friends at ABC, that is Lieutenant Darren Gilbertson describing what happened when he first approached Kohberger following the murders. The moment he identified himself as, I'm from Idaho, I am from the Idaho State Police, Kohberger immediately said, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. So Philip Dubé joining me, veteran trial lawyer out of LA County. Philip, you know, when a cop asks me a question, I respond. I don't call my lawyer in. Why?
Depends. I mean, most people ask for a lawyer if they feel whatever they're going to say is going to incriminate themselves. Even if you believe that getting the truth off your chest might help you, in fact, prosecutors can use whatever you're saying to tailor guilt based on their narrative of what happened. So rather than say anything, you should remain quiet and silent to keep all your options open so that you can review all the evidence in its totality and decide what, if anything, you should say at trial on the witness stand, but not to cops.
I don't know, but when I see a cop approach, I don't hit the gas and take off 110 mph. I don't try to get away. I don't try to avoid the questions. And I certainly don't worry about a potential jury trial. So, you know, I'm taking everything you say with a box of salt, Philip Dubé. Now, the theory that Brian Kohberger did not act alone, what?
Before Kohberger removed from his parents' Albrightsville, Pennsylvania home, he asked officers a single question. Was anyone else arrested? Though many believe Kohberger asked out of concern for his family after the late-night raid, Bloom believes Kohberger wanted to know if his accomplice was already in custody.
Leading the throng of legal eagles that insist Kohberger did not act alone is renowned author Howard Bloom. He wrote the definitive book on the Idaho murders, When the Night Comes Falling, a requiem for the Idaho student murders. Howard, explain yourself.
Well, first, let me offer up a caveat to what you just said. I'm not saying he acted alone. I'm saying the theory deserves attention, and it deserves attention after all the documents we've seen in recent days, which include an analysis of what happened by the defense's own witness, Dr. Brent Turvey. He raises many of the questions that I came about independently. If you look at the devastation, this wasn't just a stabbing, this was a massacre. The 4 students were stabbed over 150 times in totality. I mean, try raising your hand 150 times, and this happens, the police say, within a 13 minute
Wait a
window.
minute. Hold on. Can I see the photo of Brian Kohberger thinking he looks all buff, showing off all of his muscles? This guy worked out all the time and was constantly flexing himself. So you're telling me, oh, dear Lord in heaven, I asked for it, and boy, did I get it.
A skinny kid, but whatever.
So you don't see those muscles on he's got some guns going on right there. So you're telling me you're basing your theory on the fact that he's too skinny and scrawny to raise his arm 150 times? I mean, women do that in hot yoga for an hour all the time.
And 2 floors of a house in the darkness. And also, both the prosecution and defense have said that there's a possibility that another weapon was used, that Kelly received wounds from another weapon, that they also are both agree that there is a possibility that there was staging, that the victims were covered up with a comforter, and they moved them around, that there was a cleanup afterwards. But the prosecution is not denying that that's a possibility too. I think all these elements, as are laid out by the defense statements, raise questions that need to be looked at. I think we're seeing things when we look at the new evidence been released that really don't fit into the timeline.
You know, I really believe Susan Hendricks, who's joining us, journalist, investigative reporter, author of Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. Susan, maybe a UFO flew over and little green men transported down into the King Road address and murdered them along with Kohberger. Maybe that happened. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it probable? No, it's not probable. You know, Howard Bloom is renowned as an investigative journalist, as an author, but I think he's way off. And I think that somehow this alternate suspect theory got planted in his head by Kohberger's defense. I mean, other than him saying he couldn't raise his arm 150 times, I've raised my arm 35 times while he was talking. Okay. So, no, he's saying, was there a cleanup? Well, based on the crime scene photos that I saw, that I refuse to publish because of their gory nature, out of respect to the victims' families, I didn't see much of a cleanup going on. I think he's been infected by the defense bug.
Yeah, I go back to the Odinist theory, Nancy, when you can argue anything in public online, but in court, and of course, the expert witness of the defense is going to be in there that, yes, there could be a second person. And Kohberger, he studied serial killers. So he may have thought about this for months, maybe even years, what he's going to say. Was anyone else arrested? I believe he acted alone. Yes, there was bloodshed. It's horrific considering the amount of times he stabbed people. But I believe the prosecution would approve that it is doable by one person, sadly.
Straight out to special guest joining us, Chris McDonough, homicide detective, former homicide detective. What do you make of the theory that Bloom is asserting that Kohberger had an accomplice? Or maybe Kohberger was the accomplice, not the perp in chief?
Well, I think the first thing that needs obvious consideration is the defense is going to hire experts that are going to say what they want them to say, and they're going to create that, those theories that those roads are going to run down. However, I've examined all of the photographs that are available, and I've come to my own conclusions that based on, some of the evidence that we can see is Kohberger acted alone, and there's a whole bunch of reasons behind that. I believe he straddled both of those girls who were intoxicated, sound asleep in the bed, and he blitzkrieged and attacked them. And we used to have a terminology that said the knife went on full auto. Okay.
These two have to be the worst two to be together on here for me to watch. You guys have no idea how hard this is. This is ridiculous.
Because of the rage. And then when you take that into Kohberger's personality type, he sees people like bugs. He does not see them with empathy or anything like that. And then while he was killing both of those girls who were struggling and fighting backwards, i.e. they were kicking from underneath the blankets, the blood evidence showed that I believe at that point, his sheath became, dislodged from wherever it was. And because Xana had come into the room. When Xana got in the room, he chased her into her room, and the blood evidence showed, because there's blood on the doorway going into the room, I believe he caught her, stabbed her, and she fell against the wall between the bed and the nightstand. And it was at that point, Ethan woke up on his right elbow, leaned forward, and Kohberger gave him a quick coup de grace. Ethan was out probably within 6 or 7 seconds, even also trying to kick. And Xana began to fight, and that's where he straddled her on the ground against, her chair where she was subsequently found, and that was brutal. So, two people doing this. I personally do not believe the evidence showed that.
Okay, now let me understand this. This all tipped off, ignited in your mind, Howard Bloom, author.
What kills me is that McDonough has a law enforcement background and should know better. That's the sad part of this.
Of When the Night Comes Falling, because at the time of arrest, Koberger said. Who else was arrested? That's what got you going?
No, not at all. What got me going were the crime scene photographs, the discussion of a cleanup, the discussion of the number of wounds, the Bill Thompson talking about a second weapon, and are still trying to grapple with the question of a motive. Why would he have picked that house? The defense still wonders why. The prosecution was going to say, well, he just picked it at random. Well, nothing Koberger did that night seems randomish. He had planned the event. He had turned off his phone. He had obviously brought some cleanup materials, either he was wearing baggies or a suit to cover the blood. And yet he picks a house where there are a number of cars. I think it's 5 cars parked in front. There's a DoorDash delivery. Why does he go there? Why does he go up to the 3rd floor? I think there was a motive involved, and the motive involved someone else. And as you said before, maybe Koberger was the accomplice. Maybe he was helping someone who had a genuine motive commit the perfect crime.
To Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, renowned psychoanalyst out of the LA jurisdiction. She's the author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock, and you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, I find it very, very difficult to believe that anyone would go along with Brian Koberger's zany theory to go murder, horribly, horrifically murder 4 innocent students he didn't even know. Who is he going to rope into that scheme? Let's just think about that for a moment.
You know, Nancy, he wanted the glory all for himself, right? Why would he share the moment of victory with another person? I mean, as I've said so many times on your show, he wanted to triumph over and dominate these beautiful young students who were having the kind of life he could never hope to have, right? He had to blot them out of existence because he could never achieve what they achieved. He wanted to insert himself into their lives, and they probably didn't even have the time of day for him. I mean, metaphorically, it's not like he really maybe contacted them, or maybe he did on social media and they didn't get back. So why would he want to bring in another co-conspirator to blot out their lives when that was his biggest achievement in his own life? It doesn't make sense.
I feel like you probably know why we're here. We're detectives from Idaho, and we're here because of the case in Moscow. And as soon as we mentioned that, then he stopped and he said, I don't want to talk anymore.
From ABC. Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Between the grocery store and 03 Koberger's murder rampage, what she said about the attacker.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up, I heard her scream, and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you.
Susan Hendricks, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't she describe one assailant?
She does. She described someone dressed in black, pretty tall, described him as a basketball player physique.
You got to be kidding me. So because she saw one person, that means there's only one assailant. These people are so stupid. It's unheard of how stupid these people are.
Bushy eyebrows, just one.
Sydney Sumner joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. I want to reiterate what Dylan Mortensen said that night. And I want to make sure Howard Bloom and Philip Dubé's earpieces are working. Sydney Sumner, what was said at the time by Dylan Mortensen?
Mortensen described hearing and seeing a man walking around in her home. She, at some point, hears one of her roommates say, "Someone's here." And then she overhears a male voice saying, "I'm going to help you." At this point, she steps out of her room trying to understand what's going on. And she sees this man walk past her, and she describes him as wearing all black and a mask that shows just his eyes. And she speaks with the officer trying to give a rough description of this man, taller than her, lanky, That's who she sees in her home. There's no mention of a second person.
Philip Dubé, veteran trial lawyer, defense attorney. I mean, Philip Dubé, this is what you do for a living. You find somebody else to blame.
There is absolutely no way that this one scrawny man can take down 4 people merely because he has a knife. Look at him. At a minimum, one person probably could have knocked him down, maybe somehow wrested the knife away from him, kicked him, punched him, held him, and prevented all that carnage. So obviously he had a Confederate on scene to help him out because he knew that they were going to be met by multiple people in that house. I mean, let's face it, this is a reputed party house, and there's going to be at least 4 or 5 people living there, and you have to be prepared. So what do? You bring a co-Confederate with you to get the job done. And I think the reason why we haven't heard from that co-Confederate, if you will, is because that person is likely a 5th victim, as dead men tell no tale.
Okay, wait. Please put him up. So now not only is there another co-defendant, but that co-defendant is dead, killed by Brian Kohberger, but we just haven't found his body yet. So you're really taking this you're running with it. So you think, okay, can we deal with reality? Let me go to Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County. That's Fort Worth. Never a lack of business in the morgue there. He is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU, and he's the star of a hit podcast.
Is it that Barb a stretch? Only seeing one man means one perp. That lines up perfect with the info that gave them the main timeline. Right. I got you, bud.
Mayhem in the morgue. Dr. Kendall Crowns, with this number of wounds, okay, 150 all in, we think, because as you've told me many times, knife wounds can overlap on a victim to the point where it's like stabbing Jell-O. You can't really tell how many times it's been stabbed. Due to the movable nature of human flesh, how could you possibly tell that more than one weapon was used?
So with the stab wounds, sometimes you can tell that if it's a single edge or a double edge, and get an idea of different type of knives being used. But the problem with stab wounds is they can look very similar. So different knives may leave the same injuries. Now, with the description of the individuals that were killed, one of them has been possibly strangled and had her head kind of smashed in, hit several times in the head, fractures of the skull. That could have been done with a K-bar knife. The handle of the K-bar knife is actually quite thick, and he could have used the actual knife that he was stabbing them with to also beat them as well as he was stabbing them. So to me, I think all those wounds could have happened in a very short period of time. It's fairly easy to stab someone, and then he can be switching up, hitting them with his fists, hitting them with the handle of the knife as well, giving the blunt force injuries that's described on one of the victims. I think that it's easily, you could have him shifting up how he's stabbing and hitting them, and then it's easily done by one person. Could it be done by 2 people with different weapons? Stab wounds are a little hard to differentiate as far as types of weapons.
So back to you, Howard Bloom, and I've yet to get to the DNA issue, and the only fact that is somewhat disturbing to me is I think the prosecutor was just so happy to just wrap this up with a bow and get rid of the case. That's disturbing to me, and the thought that there could be a second assailant. He just doesn't want to be bothered with that. I do not want an assailant walking free. I want Kohberger to go down, but if he had help, I want that person behind bars for the rest of their life or the death penalty. That said, nothing has convinced me at all that there are 2 assailants. Why is it beyond the realm of possibility that Kohberger did use 2 weapons?
The idea that he carried 2 weapons in seems to me a bit absurd, but also the whole 2-weapon theory, that's not mine.
She really did just ask that question. That proves how ridiculously ignorant she is. Thanks, Meg. Wow.
That's Bill Thompson, the prosecutor in the case, said there's a very good possibility that 2 weapons were used. 2 weapons to me, 150 knife wounds, that leads to there being 2 suspects. Also, staging of the bodies, cleaning up afterwards, the lack of any sort of motive, all these pieces come together, not to say that there was another accomplice, but that raises the possibility that needs to be explored. Also, as you pointed out quite clearly, and there was a rush to judgment in this case. Everyone involved wanted this whole case to disappear. They couldn't wait to tear down the house. They couldn't wait to settle the case. Let's try to get some real answers. They even they accepted the settlement without having any kind of allocution, trying to get the answers to where the knife is at least. I say there are mysteries that still exist.
Exactly.
There, and I think we owe a responsibility to the victims and to the taxpayers of Idaho who funded this investigation to try to get to the bottom of things.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crisis from with this guy whose theory that Brian Kohberger did not act alone. I don't buy it. Nothing has convinced me otherwise yet. But believe me, if there is another assailant, I want them behind bars. That is why I feel that we have to examine it. Does it amount to anything? Maybe not. But still, we have to examine it. I want to talk about not only the 150 stab wounds and Howard Bloom's assertion one person could not do that. I mean, wait just a minute. Susan Hendricks, don't you recall the case of a female murdering a male with 100 plus stab wounds during some crazy sex play? Remember that?
Oh, yes. Yes. I believe it is possible here. And clearly we've seen it in other cases as well. And by the way, the 2 weapons, I think it was the back of the knife and the blade. I think that's what the prosecutor meant.
What do you mean?
With Kaylee, she had some injuries that may have been, she was injured by the back of the knife in her facial area and her teeth.
That explains a lot. Okay, Dr. Kendall Crowns, hearing Susan Hendricks' explanation of the back or the hilt of the knife being used, would that make a difference in your analysis at all?
So the back of the hilt of the knife being used, to me, it could go along with the injuries you're seeing, the blunt force injuries, and also it could be the knife being driven in all the way to the hilt, being a very deep stab wound, leaving injuries as well. So to me, it just all goes along with the fact that it's a single individual causing all these wounds. They just switch up what they're doing with their one weapon.
You know, I believe her name was Bryn Spetcher, Susan Hendricks, who was convicted of stabbing her boyfriend over 100 times. And then, of course, there's Jodi Arias, who stabbed Travis Alexander 30 plus times and didn't have a problem with it at all. But for some reason, Howard Bloom, you seem to think that while these 2 women could murder with a knife, stabbing over and over and over, you don't think Kohberger could do it?
Well, the cases you're talking about involves just one victim. Here we're talking about 4 different victims on 2 floors of the house in darkness, and we know that at least 2 of them fought back. And the prosecution itself has raised the possibility of a second weapon. All these pieces come together, I think, to raise the possibility that there might well have been another assailant, added on to the motive, added on to Kohberger's statement. Was anyone else arrested? It raises a lot of doubts. And to use Dylan Mortensen as a witness, well, her testimony has been very mercurial. It's changed throughout the many interviews she's given with the police. I mean, I feel for her. She's a victim in all this, but at the same time, she is not the most reliable witness.
Put him up.
Exactly.
Howard Bloom, you've got a nerve saying Dylan Mortensen was not a reliable witness.
It's about damn time somebody said it. Get over it, Nancy, because it's a fucking fact.
She barely survived by the skin of her teeth, and she described one assailant.
She said she saw one assailant. She said she saw one man in black. At one point, she said he was carrying a vacuum. At another point, she said, I was really too drunk to figure out what's happening. And your reliable witness just also happened to wait 8 hours before calling the police. And then she thought they were unconscious. Other times, she said she saw blood. So that is your reliable witness.
Okay, straight back to you, Chris McDonough. Could you shed some light on the theory that there were two assailants now that you've heard where Bloom is coming from?
Sure, that's, one of the questions that's not being asked is what's in Brian Koberger's system that evening? One of the last
Nothing, you idiot.
Besides, I worked was a single individual that had slaughtered some folks, and the knife went on full auto. There were hundreds of stab wounds, and as the doc has said, and as Susan has reported, that knife, that K-bar knife, the back of the hilt of that knife, I believe was utilized, and the blood evidence shows it, on Kaylee excessively, as well as Xana excessively. And that's probably the two-weapon theory here. What we're not asking, though, is what was going on in Brian Koberger's system. We know what the toxicology results are for the victims. They were incapacitated. They were sleeping. But Brian Koberger, in that 8-hour time that was just brought up, came back to the scene to see his work that morning. And if in fact this was a two perpetrator problem, whether or not the sharpest tools in the shed, because somebody came up with the idea of leaving the knife sheath there.
So not just one idiot, but two. Yeah, that's kind of.
She just said it right there. Let me play that back for you. It's sad that they talk about themselves that way, but it is what it is. Oh, it's struggling to load. Hold on.
So not just one idiot, but two. Yeah, that's kind of hard to take in. So Howard Bloom, you also point out DNA on the stairwell and on a glove. I believe that Chris McDonough spotted the glove at the time out in the parking lot. And I believe, Chris, you're the one that showed it to police. So I guess, Howard Bloom, you're using that as fodder for your two perp theory, the DNA?
No, I'm raising the question, why wasn't that DNA analyzed? Why wasn't the prosecution and the Idaho State Police going through the trouble, really just taking the time to put this through the DNA file and try to find out who it belonged to? It seems that when you don't want to know the answers to questions, they didn't ask them.
Susan Hendricks, isn't it true that the state tried to get a DNA match on that speck of DNA? And regarding the handrail, that could have been anybody. This was a party house that was in and out of the house. But didn't they try to get a DNA match?
Yes, and I always go back, I know, to Delphi, because I know so much about that case. But there was some DNA of unknown people on the girl's clothes, meaning if you're around anyone, it could show, as you said, it was a party house. It could have been someone in that home's DNA.
Well, wait a minute. Look at the Grubhub truck. They're hugging people and talking to people. that's very, very easy to transfer DNA right there. So my point is, Howard Bloom said, why didn't they try to find out? They did try to find out, didn't they?
Absolutely did. And they settled. The defense is now trying to try it in the court of public opinion. And I will say online, the people who believe there was someone else there really believe it, and they're sticking with it no matter what the evidence shows.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, you gotta go check.
Now that point right there where Dylan says, I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m., then why did you call in the first place if you don't really know, but you do? Like this, oh, for God's sake.
American homeowners, the FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called title theft. Your equity, the target, with just a forged signature. And that's 24. Sydney Sumner, sue who?
Well, he could sue IDOC. That short video of him in his jail cell, the IDOC did trace that leak to a specific person who resigned and did not face any kind of punishment for leaking that photo. But Brian Kohberger could come back and say that the prison owes him some kind of damage for letting that get through the cracks into the public.
Okay. This is totally backwards. Dr. Bethany, look at him. Look how red his hands are from cleaning things. There he is cleaning a shoe like he's been out in the mud. He hasn't been anywhere. He's obsessively cleaning and rearranging his shelves. So now he's going to sue because somebody leaked this. What damage did it do him? He's already a 4-time convicted killer. Don't you have to hurt someone's reputation? How's that going to hurt his reputation? It's already ruined.
Hey, Nancy, all I see is power and control. If he can't control the 4 victims that he slaughtered, now he's going to control the shoe in his jail cell. I mean, that's what I see. You know, Nancy, the reason I do not think that he acted with another person is that I believe this was a sexually motivated crime. I believe he was sexually excited while he committed the crime. Over the 150 stab wounds was something that sadism and sexuality and arousal were all fused in his mind in some kind of way. So why would he share that glory with another perpetrator? That's something that somebody does alone.
I see. What you're saying is coming home. I get it. He would never share all the glory with somebody else. So the fact to you, Chris McDonough, that he would sue over the leaked video, it's absurd.
Yeah, and you know, Nancy, I want to be the first to advocate that you run the depositions because, you know, if I was ISP or the DA's office, et cetera, I would want one of my own team sitting there during those initial deposition periods. And the first question I would ask them is go down that line. So exactly how did you do this, Brian? And so I think this is absurd, but it's consistent with his behavior. Again, he sees this whole process and he sees people, as the doc has pointed out, power, control, and dominance. And he looks at people as bugs and he doesn't see them as human beings like we do.
You know, that's a really good point. Philip Dubé, veteran trial lawyer, if he does follow through and sue over this leaked video we're showing right now, he can be called. It's not like a criminal trial where you, Dubé, can hide behind the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. The other side, the respondent, can put him on as the first witness and cross-examine him as a hostile witness.
Of course they could, and they could also summon him to a video conference room to do his deposition. and they can sit him down under oath and digress away from his precious tort claim for invasion of privacy in his jail cell, where, by the way, he has no expectation of privacy, even constitutionally or in tort. And they will drill him on every single crime fact that the public would love to know about. And if he refuses to answer, counsel can go into court and get sanctions and compel him to respond. And if he doesn't, under Idaho law, the ultimate doomsday sanction could result, which is a dismissal of his case with prejudice.
We wait as justice unfolds, and we remember an American hero, Deputy Sheriff Rick Haggard, Lee County Sheriff's Department, Mississippi, killed in the line of duty and leaving behind a grieving wife and daughters. American hero, Deputy Sheriff Rick Haggard. Thank you to our guests, but especially to you for being with us. Nancy Grace signing off for tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, good night, friend.
Idiot. Such an idiot. My God, my God, my God. She has no clue. I'm sorry, but she has no clue. Oh, good God. Let's see here. Give me 1 minute. Where's it at? Maybe not. Okay, moving on. So that's the deal. That's what kicked a lot of this off, I think, you guys, is Howard Bloom making the statement that he did. And it's gotten a lot of people to start looking again and looking back in the right direction instead of the wrong. And I think it's interesting. And as I told you guys, some shit's going to start hitting the fan. Well, here it comes. Nemesis Fancy. Okay. Yes, that's right. You got to support Fancy Grace. The Nemesis. All right, guys, give me a minute here. So, let me find it here. So there was a return, basically a intern situation that came out about this lawsuit, okay? Give me 1 minute here. I wanted you guys to hear this. We'll go with. All right, so Kathy's Indie Zone put this out 2 days ago. 1 minute. I'm sorry. No, hold on a minute. Just a minute. I have two different things from. Yeah. Oh, wait. Here we go. Yeah, this is the one. So this is how Kathy presented this on the return from WSU about this lawsuit, guys. All right, here we go. This is interesting as all hell for those of you that haven't seen this yet and don't know about this stuff. Let's listen to Miss Kat.
Gentlemen, welcome back.
She does an amazing job explaining these things. There's her link right there. Please go check out Kathy's Indie Zone. You won't be disappointed, I can promise you. And it does explain a lot of different stuff. So thank you, Meg. Let's listen.
To the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. Yesterday, the 11th of February, Washington State University, in the matter styled as Gonzalez et al. Versus Washington State University, filed their answer and affirmative defenses to the plaintiff's complaint. By way of background, the plaintiffs, 4 parents of the students who were catastrophically lost at 1122 King Road back on November 13th, 2022, filed a civil action in state court seeking money damages on a myriad of legal theories, including that Washington State University had not abided by obligations and duties imposed upon them by the federal statute Title IX. That is count 1 of the complaint. Washington State University on January 27th removed the state case. Plaintiffs filed their lawsuit in Saget County, Washington, in a state courthouse. WSU removed it, meaning they pulled out that lawsuit and filed it in federal court. It has been proceeding in the Western District of Washington in the Seattle division since the 27th of January. On the 30th of January, WSU filed a motion to transfer, alleging that the case should proceed in the Eastern District, closer to Pullman, Moscow area, which are addressed in the complaint. They believe that it is proper for this case not to be in Seattle, hours away, for example, from the Pullman campus of WSU, where a lot of the allegations in the complaint are based on, but should be somewhere in the Eastern District. The decision whether or not to transfer has not been made. In fact, the plaintiffs have not yet responded as to whether they agree or disagree. We're awaiting that filing. We'll notify you when the plaintiffs file their response to the motion to transfer. But there's important issues that have been raised in the answer and affirmative defenses related to a matter that will not occur until this issue of transfer is resolved by the judge after hearing on the 27th of February, which is discovery. Affirmative defense number 1 states words to the effect that there are third parties who may be liable to the plaintiffs for any damages, and Washington State University has not admitted that there is even any actual damage.
So what that statement means, there may be third parties that are responsible to the plaintiffs, the families, for damages, meaning third parties. I'm taking that as alternate suspects, okay? That is a pretty strong statement, folks. That came from WSU.
Here. They've denied misconduct, wrongdoing, that WSU didn't act responsibly, and therefore that there's culpability to the plaintiffs. What they're alleging in affirmative defense number 1 is that if there's any damages, that you need to look to a third party, not before the court, i.e.
So there it is. So any damages that you have incurred through this, you need to look, in my opinion, I agree with Angie, you need to look towards the University of Idaho, Moscow PD, Idaho State Police, etc., etc. That's who they need to be looking at and suing, not WSU, because this makes no sense.
Mr. Koberger himself and or other third parties, other people or entities which may become apparent through investigation. They have.
And there it is. Other people, other third parties besides possibly MPD, U of I, period, so on and so forth. Alternate suspects, in my opinion, folks. The discovery is going to, in my opinion, open doors to look at alternate suspects. where Hitler denied this. Okay, now mind you, this is now at a federal level. Where Hitler denied this, I think WSU is going to be pushing it. And they're going to say, who could be alternate suspects in this aspect? Did they go to WSU, so on and so forth? They weren't part of our community. They weren't part of our school here. Why aren't you looking at them, so on and so forth? So, there again, very important to me.
Discussed in affirmative defense number 1 what investigation they're talking about. If this is an investigation that a defendant might do in order to defend itself, or is this an investigation of law enforcement? What we do know is they have also said that these facts may come out in discovery, and discovery is authorized in a federal lawsuit pursuant to the federal rules of civil procedure, i.e. Rule 30. That governs any depositions that Washington State University may seek to take in this case. And it's very, giving an opinion, possible, if not likely, that they're going to want to seek to take the depositions of the plaintiffs. They may want to seek to take the deposition of other third parties. They may want to seek to take the deposition of Mr. Kohberger, given what's stated in this answer.
And if they were to depose Brian Kohberger, it may force him to speak. Okay, that would be interesting. That would be really super interesting.
And in affirmative defense number 1, or of these other people or entities who may have responsibilities here, but discovery will not happen because of what the judge ruled last week. The judge ruled that because of this motion to transfer, that she is not going to be issuing a case management order that was going to have a deadline in it when discovery needs to occur in this case. And if this case is transferred, all of the time that would have gone into this case management order will have been for naught, would have been a waste, because the case will then be closed in the Western District and it's going to be transferred to a courthouse in the Eastern District. If judge says, hey, nope, motion to transfer denied, this case is going to stay put right here, then you'll see that case management order coming out. You'll see deadlines for discovery, and then very likely you're going to start to see the parties engaging in discovery. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Kathy. That's a very interesting bit of information, you guys, in my opinion. Now, also, hold on here. One minute. Something I wanted to show you guys. This is from a few months back, and I want you to think hard on this too. And think about how everything went down with the plea deal and everything with Brian. Just think about that for a minute, okay? The way that Kathy explains this, it's really great. This is why I love her. So, and I know you guys know this already, but now that we know what we know about this WSU stuff, so on and so forth, and what could be coming up the road, think about this, please.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We are continuing to discuss, to provide opinions, commentary, and to speculate over certain documents that have been under seal in the case styled as Idaho versus Kohberger. Judge Stephen J. Hippler rendered an order on October 9th, 2025, that hit the docket on the 10th of October, 2025. And it directed that certain documents would be unsealed with redactions. The documentation that we went over in our last episode of the Indie Zone addressed a witness that the defense was apparently seeking to appear at the trial, which was scheduled to occur in August. These initiatives occurred on June 25th, 2025, which tells us that at least as of that date, in my opinion, the defense was diligently preparing for trial. If you have not yet had an opportunity to watch that presentation, please do, because it will not only, I believe, demonstrate that there was still preparations going on to prepare for the defense at trial, but it also went through return of services. At this time, I want to follow up that presentation with one that shows that at least as of July 1st, 2025, the state of Idaho was similarly apparently still preparing for trial. The document in question is the...
Now listen to her close here. And remember what we know about when the plea deal took effect, how it took effect, so on and so forth, all that stuff. Remember this. It's been a minute, guys, I know, but remember this.
The return of service that was filed on the court docket the day after change of plea on July 3rd, 2025. The day before, July 2nd, 2025, at a change of plea hearing that was scheduled and that did occur 11 a.m. before Judge Stephen J. Hippler, Mr. Kohberger stood up in open court and pled guilty to all 5 of the counts that were brought against him by operation of the indictment returned by the Latah County Grand Jury. Again, that was on July 2nd, 2025. It was the day before, July 1st, in the afternoon, that a witness sought by the state of Idaho was served with a subpoena. The details are on page 1 of this document, which is now published on the court docket, July 3rd, 2025, by looking at the timestamp of the clerk of court of Ada County telling us when this return of service was filed. Note the date, July 3rd, 2025 at 10:41 a.m. This is almost exactly 24 hours after the 11 a.m. change of plea hearing on July 2nd, which functioned to immediately vacate the order and cancel the order that the jury trial, where the public presumed that the evidence that was under seal and had been, and much of which still is as of this date, would have been brought forward publicly and presented to the jury in the prosecution's duty of beyond a reasonable doubt of the evidentiary standard that the state of Idaho bore to attempt to convince that jury to return a verdict of guilty for all 5 of those counts against Mr. Kohberger. We see here further the time that this witness for the state of Idaho was served. She was personally served. It says here, on July 1st, 2025 at 4:05 p.m. This is less than 24 hours before change of plea was scheduled for the following day. This is unquestionably a state witness because the Latah County Prosecutor's Office is listed here as the attorney who requested that service of process be effectuated on this witness. If I could provide further comments, further opinions, further speculation here. Many members of the public were extremely surprised to learn that this case, which had been so opposed by both sides aggressively argued their respective positions that Mr. Kohberger was and was not guilty. The former by the state of Idaho, the latter by counsel for Mr. Kohberger. The change of plea resulted in the immediate cancellation of the trial. The change of plea happened almost 3.5 months ago. I'm recording this on October 13th, 2025. It is exactly 1 month before the 3-year mark of November 13th, 2025, when the 4 students were taken at 1122 King Road. And we, the public, still do not have access to the vast majority of materials in the court case. So much was filed under seal. It takes looking at the case summary page, not the reduced amended version of it, the 51 pages that now exist. It's the 108-page document that until just a few days ago was what one would see when going onto the public docket and then clicking the link to the case summary page. If you go through that 108-page document, it's only then that you appreciate just how many things were filed under seal from the public and still are under seal because Judge Hippler has only just completed his review for June and July of 2025. Nothing before then has even been considered via any order that's been returned by the court for possible unsealing. This case went on for over 2.5 years. It is a highly publicized case. There was attention, not just from the state of Idaho, not just across the United States, but globally into this case. And my concern has always been the precedent that this case may be setting, that a case this highly publicized could be this much under seal and continue to be months after the jury trial was canceled. These are opinions that I give pursuant to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. If you have any thoughts, any opinions, any commentary that you would like to share, please do so here. My name is Kathy. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
As always, great stuff from Kathy. And it's kind of interesting. She put that up 4 months ago. If we think about what's going on now, I got something else for you too. With what I, again, think may be coming. 1 minute here. 1 minute here. Where is it? Give me a second here. Hold on. Okay, so I don't know if you guys caught this last night. Okay, give me 1 minute here. Let me show you something. It's a combination of a little bit of things that kind of tells a story, guys, in my opinion. Let's check this out real quick here, guys. This was, hold on, my apologies. Birdie ran this last night. I believe he had the custody queens on last night as a guest, so on and so forth. And this is kind of interesting to hear what they said if you listen here.
Approving a motion to close one of accused quadruple murderer Brian Kohberger's hearings on Friday. Hearing scheduled for 10:30 a.m. has now officially been closed to the public. In the hearing, the judge will take up a motion filed by Kohberger's public attorney, Ann Taylor, to dismiss his murder indictment based on grounds of a biased grand jury. That's according to court documents. Another hearing will then take place in the early afternoon. This is a motion to dismiss the indictment on grounds of error in grand.
This is old, obviously, guys, but just watch what happens here.
Jury instructions. Nonstop Local did place phone calls to the public information officer with the Idaho court system to ask for clarification. What is the difference between the two hearings? Why is one closed and one open to the public? She referred us to the trial administrator, who did not answer, who did not answer, who did not answer.
It's a damn shame. Usually, especially when you have a novel.
What's up? Never say never. How are you doing? That's enough of that. Okay. What up? Bet you were surprised.
I was.
I wasn't.
No.
You were surprised by the lawsuit, Ron, or the response to it?
I was surprised that they filed an answer and didn't try to challenge it on the pleadings. So
explain that. Explain that.
Well, usually, especially when you have a novel legal theory, which they definitely have here. They're definitely stretching the boundaries of proximate cause and force.
Now, this is about the lawsuit we were talking about. I want you guys to see this part too.
Foreseeability in making a connection. I kept telling you, I thought this was a really well pled, really well written complaint. And I think that it is, because they didn't go, they could have challenged it and just said on the face of the complaint, this needs to be dismissed. You haven't even stated a valid cause of action, but they didn't even try that, which that's what surprises me. And so what that means is we're going to get discovery in this. We're going to go in, they're going to have their meeting. They're going to plan out all the litigation up to and including when is trial going to be. So we may know they'll probably put that off, but within a month, we're probably going to have a sense of what discovery there's going to be if they, it should be on the court docket. So this is really getting interesting to me.
Okay, Ron, I have a question for you though, because when I was a little shocked that they didn't try to get it dismissed as well.
Yeah.
But a part of me thinks that was going to be pretty far-fetched for them to do just with a straight dismissal, with everything that we've talked about. And they want to get right to the point. Let's open discovery. Let's go.
Maybe I'm just a little gun shy, because I did spend almost 10 years as a plaintiff's lawyer, and I've had cases dismissed on demur and on summary judgment. And I have, you kind of get a feel for what is going to survive a demur or a dismissal, or what they call it here in federal court, what's going to get to the next stage and where your real risks are. This one, whenever you've got a novel theory of liability, you're always generally going to be clenching yourself at the demur stage and hoping you get past that. And they did.
Well, and to anybody that is watching that wonders what does demur mean, I just Googled it. It says it's making a pleading that challenges the sufficiency or the adequacy of pleadings of another party. Okay, so they got through this stage of not saying there's no grounds here. If anything, it kind of seems like they leaned into it. Like I said in my intro, where they're like, we're not going to deny that Kohberger did it, but we're going to paragraph after paragraph, we're going to break you down granularly.
Yeah, but I think that part, we were kind of talking a little offline, and I think that part is important. And I was just talking to Ron about how essentially WSU is coming out and saying, yeah, BK did it. And why would they do that? I think that arguably, if they could deny that he did it based on the fact that there's all this information out there, they would, because it would
Now listen to this part, guys. This is interesting.
avoid them from having any liability whatsoever if he didn't do it. But can they really do that, considering in the criminal case, he has taken a guilty plea?
Yeah, that's essentially a fact that's now been established in the criminal court. It's an adjudication, which is now to judgment, that he did it. And so I think admitting that he did it is a reasonable tactic for them here. But we did talk, I think, a little bit. They certainly did narrow it just to they admit that he did it. They haven't ruled out the possibility that they may try to discover if anybody else was involved, because they would love to open up as many avenues of liability as they possibly can.
Well, and
that's where this is going, you guys. They're not going to deny that Brian did this, which makes sense, okay? What they're going to do is they're going to point to other people being involved in this, which in turn, here's my theory on this, okay? Thank you so much, Christina. Little pocket change, bro. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Appreciate that. This is actually really smart, in my opinion, at least, how this would work out. That's why I'm showing you this now. They won't deny that Brian did this. What they'll say, though, is, in my opinion, is they're going to point to other people that could have done this. Now, how is that going to be a good thing, Dago, is what you guys are saying. Because I don't think Brian did this. You guys know that, okay? How this could be a good thing, though, folks, is because as they're pointing at other people, it's going to open up discovery of things that maybe weren't able to be looked into or brought to the table. And then there's reasonable doubt, okay? And they'll be using that to look at these other people possibly, which in turn could point to Brian's innocence. If they can prove these other people were guilty of a certain thing, it could very possibly prove Brian's innocence in this period. It's going to open up a lot of new shit, folks, in my opinion, truly. In turn, there could be sorry, I can't think today. I have a headache. There could be an appeal put out. Who knows at that point? They can't say he didn't right at this moment since he pled. Right, 100% correct. It makes more sense to follow it and then point your fingers at other people and then open those doors and see what that opens up for him. You see what I'm saying?
What I find interesting from just like a civilian standpoint is, I've said this from day one, is let's stop pretending that it's normal to get into the psyche of a mass murderer as an employer, right? They were arguing basically that WSU had a psychic duty to predict this. I thought it was rather genius that they kind of leaned into it. They didn't take the murder aspect out of it. And I thought that it was a great counter, again, from not being a lawyer, but just following it and reading it. What are your guys' takes on that?
I agree, because I think really sometimes the best defense is offense.
Yes.
And if you have a prior adjudication and we just accept the fact that BK did it, period, and we don't open the door to additional potential people that could also be liable or could be the people that perpetrated this crime. If we don't do that, then how can we open discovery on that issue? So I think part of this sort of response saying, hey, maybe other people did it. I mean, we've all seen all this other evidence.
Will it be law enforcement that reinvestigates Maven? Welcome, by the way. Or will they have their own private investigators investigating this stuff, pointing out these things is what my thought is through WSU. I'm just through their attorneys is what I'm saying.
And so we're all looking that way anyways. But if you open it up and say, okay, yeah, we admit BK did it, but what if these other people did it too? Doesn't that then open up discovery in this case so that it becomes relevant to go look back at what happened in the criminal matter?
Bingo.
Whereas if we just agreed to that fact, now WSU is only fighting whether or not their duty actually attached to BK.
Well said.
There we go.
And I have the documents pulled up. Shout out to Alicia, your guys, I guess, producer, if you want to call that. She had sent me the full documents.
Manager, you know, she does a lot for us. She helps keeps us on track. So
no, she's great. I had sent you the 4 pages from Kathy's Indie Zone last night, and I was like, this is wild. What are your thoughts on it? So we do have the full, I think it's 53 or 58 pages. My question before I put that up on screen and we really get into the meat and potatoes of it is, where does this end? Because we're clearly seeing a lawsuit play out, but I ask, where does this end as far as a student commits a crime 5 miles off campus? Is that really the university's liability? What if it's 50 miles? It's in a different state. Where does this end? I mean, there's at the same time as it's great for people that are interested in this case that there's going to be a discovery most likely. What precedent is being set? And then I'll go ahead and I'll get this up on screen, but I am curious to get your thoughts on that.
Well, you have to look at all those campuses that have, like, you know, franchises or different locations. So how does it if you
in another?
Yeah. Most generally, law that you have to, or I guess mandatory law or a precedential law is set by generally the appellate courts in either within the state or within the federal circuits and the Supreme Court.
Exactly, David. And I thought about this. We talked about this when this first dropped, you guys. Do we think that WSU is going to settle out of court? Do you think that they're going to fight this tooth and nail, go to trial? Do you think that it's going to be thrown out? We talked about all those options, right? I gave my opinions, and now, you know, that I'm thinking about these things again. Think about that. $400 million. That's a lot of damn money. David Clayton has a huge point here, okay? They're not going to settle out of court for any amount of money, in my opinion, because, again, folks, this is the school reputation is based off of this as well. And however this goes, and I said this before, if the school were to settle out of court, it's going to look bad for them. They're not taking any accountability. They're not denying it. They're just settling out of court. That's not going to look good. I said that. In my opinion, what I believed would be the best option would be to take it to court, drive it all the way home, prove the wrong of this, okay? Prove the BS on this is my thought. So, that being said, here we are. I think they're going to drive this all the way home, folks. They're going to open up every door, every window, every bit they can, and they're going to prove this is bullshit. And while doing that, I feel it's very, very possible this is going to prove that Bryan Kohberger, the innocence on his side of this. That's what I think is going to happen. What's up, 1-1?
State Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court. If this is in, I'm assuming, I think this is the Ninth Circuit. If let's say that you have a decision here and it goes up on appeal, and the Court of Appeal either affirms it or reverses, whatever their opinion is that addresses the issues in this case, that is precedent for any federal cases within the Ninth Circuit. Those can be within, and particularly within the Ninth Circuit, state courts. So so if somebody else in the state of Washington files a lawsuit, let's say against the University of Washington for something along these lines, they can then cite to that federal case as persuasive authority, but it's not necessarily mandatory for the state courts to rely on it. And likewise, the Ninth Circuit decision isn't necessarily going to be a reliable authority elsewhere in other circuits. They can generally cite it as persuasive as well. And that, in fact, that's kind of how things get to the Supreme Court, is if the Ninth Circuit rules one way on an issue and the Seventh Circuit rules a different way on the issue, then the Supreme Court could look at that and say, well, we need to resolve that because we have different federal courts following different law. We need to resolve that. And that's how cases will get to the Supreme Court.
Could you imagine that admissions process, though, if people are now considering what people might do down the road while they're a student there? Could you imagine what they would be adding to that admissions process? Are we including now background checks? I mean, just imagine what they're having to look at, now, if this is what they're being held responsible for.
Yeah, that's
I agree with that.
Kind of a scary thing for the university.
It's grossly scary. I mean, I could see admissions going down significantly if you're thinking, hey, is this person going to become an unaliver 2 years from now while they're a student on this campus?
But also by extension, it must be scary too to be a student, because someone's looking into all the parts of your life, or maybe they have a higher right to look into things that should be otherwise private.
And I think overnight, the ruling, I could be stretching right now, but the ruling overnight against WSU, that's going to trigger a nationwide shift, I would call it, in campus risk management. Does tuition go up? Does policy change? What happens with that? Because now, crossing state lines as an employee or a student in a different state, you got a $500 million lawsuit on your hands. In one of the most, in my opinion, the best example of a case that should have gone to trial in history, and it doesn't, and you still get stuck with that bill, is wild.
I agree.
But Ron, I have one question before we jump into a break. When go back to the demur really quick, how long does that process take? Is it something, that they file the demur and then I'm assuming they respond to it, and then there's likely a couple days of hearing?
Not that I've ever heard of, Moonlit, but that is a whole new precedent that it could set if that's the case. You know what I mean? Has there ever been a school sued over a school shooter because they have been aware of behavior? That's an interesting theory. I've never heard of it. I've never heard anybody being held accountable for that in that aspect before either. But if that were to be a new precedence being set because of something like that, wow. Okay. Thank you, SRB. Truly, wow. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Just think about it for a minute.
Hearings and oral argument, and then the judge may take it under submission. How long is that process? Because I'm thinking that would be one of the factors that WSU was considering in and saying, is this going to prolong the 6 months? I mean, they do have attention in the media right now that has not been in the favor of the defense for the last, year and a half, 2 years? Yeah.
No, I don't think. And let me just clarify, because I keep calling it a demur because I've still got that state court mindset. It's called a 12B6 motion in federal court, and actually that's what I think is so surprising about this, because I think now the process they're facing is a lot longer than what they would have been faced if they had been able to dispose of it as a 12B6 motion.
No, but I was getting at, what if they lost on it? How long would that prolong?
Oh, probably a couple months, I would think.
Absolutely not. You are correct, Moonlight. That doesn't hold any weight. It's ridiculous, to be honest with you. Nobody on any campus is ever going to know unless they know, based on having medical records or some weird shit like that, what somebody could turn out to be, who somebody could turn out to be. You know what I mean? So the lawsuit in itself is ridiculous. And all WSU is going to have to do is to prove. They're looking at other people, obviously. We know that. Whether or not they're saying Brian did it or not, that's the tactic of it, okay? Whether they believe it or not, it's fine because it makes sense as to why they're using that tactic. So that they can say, hey, maybe he did do it, but we don't think he did it by himself. What about this person, this person, this person, or this person? Why didn't you look at them? They could have done it too. Why aren't we looking at them? Why aren't we talking about them? But they didn't go to school here. So how does this lawsuit hold any water if they're responsible as well? There's the point right there, guys.
It could. It's not going to be. It's going to be. They generally rule on that mostly on the papers, and there may be some argument. You're not looking at an extended trial or anything like that, especially not like we handle in family court where we can.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. Thank you, Lizzie. Like I said, you learn something every day. That's interesting to know. Thank you.
And have a trial that starts in 2023 and finishes in 2025.
Well, I think that we
do
have to ask the question of, are we watching a quiet constitutional battle over state liability? Right? I mean, are we watching a constitutional battle over the limits of what state liability is? Because it just seems like this lawsuit is a Trojan horse that other legal precedents could get set off of. I mean, we've said this is wild. It should have gone to trial. Now there's a civil suit where the burden of proof is way less. WSU claps back. It's all playing out perfectly, in my opinion, from a legal setting that somebody else could come in and now reference this lawsuit,
bingo,
this ruling, and ride the coattails of this on, something that's kind of unrelated, and then get that passed. I don't know if I'm way out of left field on that, but that's kind of how I see it.
No, one of the reasons this is in federal court is because there is a federal issue. I think 1983, USC 1983, and Title IX. And yes, I think if you get a result here which kind of pushes those boundaries.
That's a great question, Moonlit. I would love to know if they would go to depose Cy Ray for this. I don't know how they'd work it in, but it'd be interesting if they could. Let's not forget what some of these things can change, folks, okay? For instance, Olivia Stevenson, Kaylee's sister, went through legislation and got a law passed so that people can't look at crime scene photos that have bodies in them now. She got a law passed for that, okay? Realize that. So if people see this stuff happening, they're going to take the rights away from everyone here. And I know I'm kind of going off subject here, but I just want you to understand how certain precedences can be set by stuff like this. They're going to take the rights away from us as looking into these crimes to see what's actually going on, meaning they can get away with whatever they want if we don't have the right to look at these things to kind of try to understand it more. You know what I mean? So there's that too. We're only going to watch just a minute or two more of this and then we're done with it. We just saw the important part already.
Of how those apply. Yeah, this could create a little bit of chaos, I think.
Is a settlement more dangerous than going through with it or no?
It depends.
Well, I know it's a loaded question, but and we can kind of go down the line. Yeah, we can start with you, Kristen. What does your gut say? Is a settlement more dangerous than a trial because it's kind of signaling a vulnerability, or?
A settlement doesn't happen overnight. It's generally going through the discovery process. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your exposures? What is the potential jury effect of going to see all of this? A settlement is nobody's happy. Prosecution didn't get what they want, the plaintiffs didn't get what they want. Right. Defendants don't get what they want. You meet somewhere in the middle. I mean, going through with the jury, no matter how good your facts are, how good your evidences are, how good your evidence is, you are rolling the freaking dice. You have no clue what is going on in those jurors' mind. Do they already have, do they already know how they're going to rule in this case, regardless of what the evidence is, regardless of how good your experts are, regardless of anything? It is truly, truly, you're rolling the dice.
And that's going to do it for that, guys. So I think this is going to be a very, very interesting scenario, folks. It's going to do, there's going to be some stuff happening, in my opinion. There's going to be some shit that hits the fan. There's going to be some shit that hits the wall. And there's going to be some stuff coming down the pike, like I said, that is going to change some things, I think. And a lot of this very well could open the wound back up in this, and maybe show some proof of innocence on Brian Kohberger's side of this, and point out maybe people that could have actually done this. So we shall see. We shall see. But that's pretty much all I got for you today with this, guys. And I was very interested in that. And like I said, tonight, of course, I'll be joining Devil's Advocates over there as we break down the things we do and discuss them. Always great conversations with Logan and Lee, Robin, 11, and JJ. I'm looking forward to that as always. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow is our premiere. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of The Verdict Room, Unfiltered, live. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there for that. And that would be involving myself, The Last 24, Typically Unique, and Bronx Tale True Crime. And our special guest tomorrow night for the premiere is going to be Booking with B. She's going to be joining us. That should be a lot of fun as well, guys. Lots of stuff coming up the road. And then, like I said, next Tuesday, I will be joined by the Custody Queens themselves as we break probably this same conversation down in different ways and talk about it. So I'm looking forward to all this stuff, guys. And I'm looking forward to you all being here with us for it. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. Thank you to my moderators. You guys are amazing. Thank you to my producer, Mike, my videographer, Molly. You guys are all amazing. I appreciate you all so very much. Couldn't do it without you. And I hope to see you guys maybe over there tonight for sure. Other than that, guys, please don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change a thing. You guys are the beautiful people, and I'll see you guys very soon. Nothing but love, folks. Bye-bye.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light. A reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear. The sound of justice, the only thing we hear. At the True Crime Cafe, we watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is backed and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter, set the empty chair, and wait. Until the next one.